All right, welcome everybody. What is today? September 20th, right? 5:30. Thanks for coming to the Deltona Citizens Water Committee. We're going to get started. We have Dana McCool, myself, David Santiago, Tim Cole, and Ms. Valerie. What's your last name? I forget.
Badney.
Thank you. Welcome. Santiago Avila called us this afternoon, couldn't make it. He had something urgent he had to take care of. But he did express confidence to Eric to share with the committee, which he just told me a few minutes ago, that he's confident in our capabilities and strong would support any of our efforts. So, which is probably why we keep losing our audience. But let me just Eric just provided to the committee the original proposal that we received from KPMG, which came in, I think it was $360,000.
Yeah.
Which was encompassed everything that we wanted, water and sewer. And then I guess they heard about our budget and they modified the proposal, which you got in your emails probably almost a week ago.
Yes, sir.
To accommodate our budget. However, the concern that I had, and I see what the committee thinks, is that it did not include any looking at the wastewater part of the business. So Eric and I spoke about that, and so we got to get the committee together right away. And my thoughts, and I'd like to see where the committee wants to go, is that we have to find a way. I do not want to go back as an individual member and ask for more money. I think everybody expressed concern by even spending $200,000. I believe I've talked to individual commissioners. There's still support there to go up to $200,000. So what we're going to, I think, have to do, well, I said it's obvious, we're going to have to narrow our scope and decide whether or not we should include wastewater, which I personally believe we should find a way to include wastewater, because it's the driver of a lot of the complaints. So I'll open it up for just comments for anybody in the committee, see which way you want to go.
I would like to hear what your drivers are.
Drivers. Did I use the word drivers?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the drivers are everything they have in front of me.
Well, what I'm saying is your wastewater drivers.
Oh, well, I mean, a lot of people have complained about the price of wastewater, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was a commissioner before, and I used to get those complaints also. And the response that I always got was, there's so much cost to run the wastewater utility system, and there's only so many customers to divide that amongst.
Sewer, basically, sewer.
Yeah, sewer, correct. And that's why the cost is what it is. Now, if we want to include that into the scope and see if there's any efficiencies maybe that they can find to help lower that, it's just a thought. Because that's a major deal for some people. Tim, you're a
Tim, you need to speak to that, because I'm on septic, right, and I just don't internalize, although I know it's part of the overall picture.
Yeah.
So
I just want to make sure we discuss that and not just brush that away.
The sewer aspect, the wastewater, I don't see it broken down anywhere in terms of how much that individual part will cost.
It's not, because this proposal that you have in front of you is strictly them giving us to do water and those items.
the 360.
No, I'm sorry. I was talking about this one. Which
Yeah.
are you pointing at?
I'm trying to find, because they broke down the cost for each individual
Yeah,
on
he's looking
here.
at the 199 one. And
But on also the 361, they also have it broken down as well. So I'm trying to figure out what
Same
they charge
thing.
for a look at the wastewater.
So Representative, do you mind if I interject
Yeah,
for
go
just
ahead,
one
yeah.
moment, if you don't mind? So just as a point of clarity for the committee members, the difference in price primarily is the length of time. They are looking at 4 to 5 months on the 360, plus they're including wastewater or sewer. The second proposal, in order to meet the budget, or the most recent updated proposal to meet the budget, it shortens the time to 2 months and does not include sewer/wastewater. That's the primary.
so it's just timing. A labor cost, labor time.
A lot of labor, yeah. Then
I still like to, I think it would be prudent for us to have a breakdown of what the sewer cost would be. That part of it, the wastewater. Because we can't can we make an informed choice not having that information? Because I think the committee at one point had the attitude that we would be like an a la carte kind of thing.
Yes.
And it would be nice to have had some sort of number on wastewater.
Now I'm looking at comparing the two, which is fixed costs associated, the top line. and the difference between the two has 90,000 and 30,900, is taking off wastewater $60,000 just off that? I don't know. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's, yeah.
Big number.
I mean, was it gonna take that extra time? Is that just
No.
looking at sewer? How many clients do we have on, how many
Well, it's not gonna go by
It's like
clients
9,000.
necessarily,
Well,
but
there's
yeah.
I think approximately 9,000.
Yeah.
on
A
sewer?
guesstimate about 9,000, that's what I.
It won't necessarily go by clients, but I know what you're saying, it's not that big of a system, is what you're saying.
But it's an important, right, an important one, and I'm just, okay, can we just then skim down, go da-da-da, bullet point through
On which one?
page 2? Let's just go.
Which one, so we're on the same page?
Page 2 of the,
190.
memo.
The 190?
One, yeah. Okay, which one do we tell 199?
Oh, mine has a paper clip on it, so. Are they the same? Page 2.
What did it say? These
They
two?
should be relatively the same.
No, these two.
This one has the seal. That's the 360.
Uh-huh.
This is the one you have here is the 189.
So we have 2 copies of the 199?
No.
I'm asking.
No,
No.
this is all one. This is all the 189. This is the 360.
360.
This right here is your
360.
360.
What
yeah.
is the difference between these two? Is what I'm asking.
I think what I'm gathering,
I don't think there's anything
What I'm
unless,
gathering is those
Sandy, did you
applying-
put maybe a separate, was it
Gave
an
it a
additional copy
copy.
by accident, or?
Well, maybe there were 2 attached to hers.
Okay. No, they,
Okay, wait, I'm looking at your team professionals, key areas, financial industry benchmarking, that's right. Financial planning, yes.
think they're the
Human
same.
capital, regulatory, yeah. I'm
So-
just trying to
My
find.
version is stapled, yours was paperclip.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
So I'm looking at the 199
You may
version,
receive
and it
an
does
extra
have
copy.
mention of wastewater operation and management. I'm sorry, no, I take that back. Water utility, I misread that.
I think they're largely the same.
Can I just say something here? We've already identified so many deficits that the water company has. What, if anything, is being done internally to help with some of the information that we already know that has been problematic? Is the city doing anything, or the company?
I can say, based on some of the comments you've shared and
Yeah.
others, I think they've been doing a few things, and you probably know more than I do.
They have.
The new utility director, I think this is title, or engineer, I think he's been implementing a lot of changes from what I've been hearing.
So when I look at this and I look at, some of the things that they want to do and what they're going to give us feedback on, we've already identified a lot of that, and whether or not that can be taken out of this scope,
It could.
only because, to be perfectly honest with you, $200,000 is a lot of money, and if there's going to be any kind of improvements that need to be done, whether it's with the infrastructure or equipment or what have you, I'd rather see the money well spent there to be able to put it back into the system than to have somebody repeat to us all the deficits we already know, with the exception of wastewater, maybe some of the
I
governance
agree.
part of it, but when we look at this, and we can go page by page, my other thought was, and I don't know, whether or not we could, for some of the other stuff that we may not feel comfortable with, or somebody needs guidance on or what have you, if we got the colleges involved, a project management team or something like that, to be able to guide us through it, and this be their project to come up with some kind of a, plan. Are they gonna implement training? Are they gonna give us documents and do all the training and tell the city what needs to be done? Who follows up on that after the fact when they identify?
The water department follows up on it along with the city. Right, and I just think that there has been so much talk about the brokenness of the water department. Now, John is doing a fantastic job, he's a fantastic communicator, but he can't assess how best to get us to the level of communication and staff support that we need to be at. Because I still called the water department and was on hold for 40 minutes, right? So somebody that deals all the time with other water departments needs to come in and say, okay, you need to shift staff here, X, Y, and Z. So as far as that human capital management, and as far as Tyler Technologies, because Tyler Technologies, the software system that runs Munis, has had They have had issues, right, in other municipalities with software glitches. We've also, it's come that there's human error and somebody got billed, you know, the huge $20,000 water bill. There is something being looked at now to where somebody's water was off. You know, a lady was in the hospital, her water was off, water off, irrigation off, everything off, but she received an outrageous bill. We need to get to the root of that. So, financial planning and management, necessity of 25% out of city limit surcharge, impact of removing and redistributing. Maybe staff can do that.
Say that again?
On the second page, page 2, project objectives.
Yep.
Under financial planning and management, the necessity of 25%, that is in your backyard, but what I'm saying, Tim, is can we discuss that the city, instead of having to PRR that, the city might be forthcoming and explaining that with Stan Tech or whatever.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? Because that's in your backyard.
I would not feel good at all.
Okay.
That really needs to be outside the scope of the city.
Okay, review of existing bonds. And how it relates to,
Yeah, you know,
That whole piece, I think, should be included with this KPMG.
okay?
On the bonds, I think what happens, the city signed a bad deal when they did the refinance. I forgot the technical term that they use.
Oh, yeah, I forget that word too.
Yeah, I forgot.
Linda, right,
And so we lost, you know, I think it was a deal. I think everybody knows it was a bad deal now afterwards. And reviewing the bonds itself right now.
swaption.
Swaption, that is it, yes. And I'm just, when I'm leveraging what on a level of importance, because we have to trim it, right?
Right.
On a level of importance, what really are we going to do about it? I think they're gonna tell us, yeah, you signed a bad deal, right? What do? We refinance it? I don't know. Again, weighing half the cut, I don't know if that's gonna give us any real meat and potatoes to help our constituents.
Tim, review of existing bonds. How do you feel about that? Leave the 25% review of existing bonds.
For
25% review,
I
okay.
am, it's like, this might not sound right, I don't want to mean it to sound aggressive, but my non-negotiable is the necessity of the 25%.
I'm okay with
No,
that.
I'm good with
I'm
that.
good with that.
And I'm good with that.
Yeah, you know, I didn't say nothing about that.
The review of its existing bonds,
Knowing you have to cut.
what is?
We have to cut.
Yeah, well, we can, there's other areas that we can look at as well. But what information will we get from reviewing of the existing bonds? What information would that yield?
I don't know.
Bad deal.
I think they're gonna tell us what we already know. We signed a bad deal.
Okay.
And the city has financial advisors already supposedly, you know, that they work with. And if they want to go ahead and, I don't know, refinance it or whatever, I think we should have a plan in place to pay them off. But from what I've gathered, those are interest earned already, from what I've heard. That's not a
Interest
concrete answer, but that even if we paid them off early, we still got to pay the interest on those bonds, municipal bonds.
Yeah,
But I
I'm
don't know where we get
flexible
out
with
of it.
that. I'm flexible with that.
Okay, so can we like just maybe star that right now before
Yeah.
strike, and then as we
Fine.
get down, star,
Yeah.
so star that and then move on. Human capital management and internal reporting and accountability, staffing, training and development, workforce management and strategy, strategic planning, internal performance standards and controls, communication and reporting.
Let me interject a little story. Last week I met with a meter reader, and she said she's ready to quit. She's ready to retire
Okay.
because it's all of their fault. Everything is being put on them. It's the old phrase that it all rolls downhill. And I asked her how many meters she has to read, and she said 600 a day.
In a day.
In a day. She said that the morale is extremely low. People are absolutely fed up with, they think they're being mistreated. I mean, the employees. And so I think morale within that department is at an extremely low level. So I think, for me, this went up a notch.
I'd be okay with keeping it. I think we're
Well-
keeping that and see where we land at the end. I wouldn't scratch
I don't know
that.
how they can read 600 in one day.
Without, this is a lot of, yeah. I'm agreeing with that, because one of our things is, I'm not trying to point fingers, I want to support them. If they are being made to read out of their human element, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I would like to know that, I mean, as well with any city staff, right? And I would like there to be a level of anonymity there, that if they're talked to, they
Correct,
can.
I agree.
That, yeah, so I'm good with that, Lee, that's really, really important. Regulatory compliance, I'm pretty sure that John's been doing a lot.
I can cut
with
that. I feel comfortable with
regulatory
cutting that out.
Compliance. Valerie? I think the county and the state has a lot of oversight as far as that's concerned also.
All right, well, I'm good with that.
Okay.
Capital projects governance?
Cost and financing of capital improvement, CIP development priority setting and budgeting. I think that John is doing you know what I mean? He has enough experience behind him to address that. We can leave that as far as asking them to internally, look at that. I mean,
I don't disagree.
I'm not going to disagree with that either, and I think that would be a good role for him, because he's pretty much on top of everything that's going on there.
he really is.
He is. So we can look at that. Information technology,
That's gotta.
it's got to be.
It's gotta be.
It's got to be. I mean, we know it's.
I knew you'd jump all over that. Okay, I was expecting that. Okay.
No, but information, but it all trickles down, the information technology. If you've got the technology there to be able to support each
We
group
have the right systems.
with the
Yeah.
billing, with the field work and everything else like that, that's going to make their jobs a little bit more easy.
Well, I think that too, another thing that they could do when they're looking at that information technology, general technology environment, that will also beg the question, AMR versus AMI kind
Yeah.
of thing. They'll
Yeah.
take a
Yeah.
look at
I
that and
agree.
make recommendations.
I agree.
Do they automatically do that, or do they need to be informed to do that?
No, it might be something that we can
Ask
start.
them, yeah.
Because I tell you, everybody's gonna have their own school of thought on that. John knows the stuff on that, right? But what do we as a city want to know? We wanna know if there's
But I would think, I think I would leave that up to him, because he'll know that cost and the financing of capital improvement, I think doesn't that fall underneath that, any kind of?
Well, then we scratch that one. That's under capital project governance.
Well, that's.
Yeah, but that's
what
where
we put
John
in
is.
Yeah,
It's
we
for the
put
meters.
internal,
And doing all of that, to be able to say, hey, look, this is inadequate, or, it's antiquated, we need to budget for this somewhere down the road, look at financing, whatever the case may be. I think he would be more knowledgeable to say, this is
And
what.
he's already
we
looking
need.
at that stuff. I mean, he's already looking at the stuff, however,
Yeah.
it would be up for that third party also to say, yeah. And when it comes to credibility with the city as a whole residents, the outside people saying, yeah, we need to do this too, instead of saying, oh, they're just making the money grab.
So we're good with information technology.
Yeah.
All right, next. Customer service and billing.
Oh, God.
This kind of goes in with technology as well.
Yeah.
It is gonna go with
Customer
technology.
service and billing, my question would be is that, how do you, the billing system is the same billing system for water and sewer. So I don't know how they can raise our price significantly between the two. What's the difference between the two, right? Because it's just a matter of a different meter. No, actually, it's not even that, because it's based on the meter, the amount of water you use on your sewer rate.
Yeah.
So I don't see, I want to leave that, by the way. I don't see how that and saying we want, because if they look at that, what I'm trying to say, if they look at that, they're looking at that for the entire system. There's no way to separate water and
That is
sewer for
correct.
that. It's basically how well is your customer service, so we're going to keep that. All right?
Yeah.
I can't see how they separate those two.
Water treatment and distribution.
You turn the page. Not all of us have the iPad. Can we get iPads for the next meeting?
So, let me just go back to this, customer service and billing. So call center website, operations, field response, billing, payment collection.
Yeah.
We want to keep that and have them
Yeah,
look at
that's
all
the
of that.
highest expense in their breakout of their cost. You see that? It's the 45.5, the highest expense. And I think it's probably one of the highest priorities for us.
Ken,
No?
But wouldn't that, if we do the information technology, what is the technology gonna afford us with all the rest of this? With the billing part of it, with the website and everything? So if they start incorporating, saying, okay, we got a technology out here that it can be, pretty much self-serving for the customer when they call in, going through the automated system. Get your bill balance, get this, get this, and this.
I think the two, yes, do work together.
They
But
do.
there's more information technology that's behind the scenes, information technology I would expect them to, is the systems managing our utilities. I would expect that to be part of information technology. I mean, not just the front-end customer stuff, but the back end to run the business. That's
Right.
my expectation.
But,
I think I'm glad you brought that up. I think they need to really look at how people are treated when they're late one day. That's,
oh, there's no doubt about it. But we already know
That's
that.
part of customer service billing, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
no, but that needs to be,
We already know the customers are not getting the
Listen,
service that they need.
Keep it, make it, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I just hate to see something being replicated that we already identified.
Yeah.
So if we have them go ahead and do this, my question is are they going to go ahead and provide all the training and all the necessary information? They can make the recommendations.
No, I don't think they're gonna do that, no.
Right.
They're gonna make recommendations, that's it.
All right, so then who's going to implement that?
The
Why?
city would.
it's gotta be up to the city.
Right, but why can't we do it ourselves?
Oh, you
to a
say
certain
not
extent?
included?
Right, not include it, but have the city be able
No, I
to do
wonder-
that.
Because
I
you
think
need the third
The
party
independent
perspective.
party that's going to officially say, this is your issue.
Yeah.
Now it's in your ball court city commission to work on it, to improve it.
Yep.
If we don't include that, it's easy to overlook.
Lob it across, put it down at the end.
So in my opinion, I think we are prioritizing the list now to say, hey, this is like a big red flag for the whole community. An independent review needs to occur. That's how I feel about that part.
I agree with you too. Customer service, we're good with all that?
Yep.
Water treatment and distribution, I think, I want that if we can keep it. I know it's more of it's them gathering that information and just putting it in a form. I mean, how does Deltona water compare to, utilities similar, but I'm open to the committee saying, do we need it? Is it gonna give us a bang for the buck? I mean, do you think the residents have an expectation for us to have looked at that?
Everybody,
Well, they've complained about quality, I'm sorry.
yeah, I was just saying that
Yeah.
as well.
The quality of the water.
Hmm.
They're paying for water that they're not using. They're using filters and bottled water.
Well, most people in Florida are that way. And again, I'm not defending or saying
No,
that.
I get it.
You can insert, Tim Cole in almost any city in Florida, and
Right.
he may like it and I may hate it, and David Santiago. And you may have a filter and I may not. so.
Here's the thing, okay, so tell me real quick something. Tell me time scope on this, okay? We get this nailed down tonight, and then what happens? Because I have a reason I'm asking.
What I want to do is, I know I want to ask if they could send a representative to come talk to the committee real quick, because I know you had a question about one or two things.
I'd like to hear the presentation, yeah.
Yeah, and
To
so
interact.
I'd like to have that if they're willing to. We're leaning to saying the commission do this, but we'd like to hear from you.
Yeah.
Right, can you come over? And then at that committee, making a final decision if the committee so wishes to.
And then it's done
What's the
in 2 months.
timeframe on that?
Well, the 199 timeframe was 2 months, right, Eric?
Approximately 2 months.
For them to do the work.
Well, how long for them to meet, and here's why I'm asking you about this. We're sitting here, we know what's important,
Okay.
right? We are speaking for residents, right?
Okay.
But, I mean,
They'll start within 5 business days of us giving them the green light. Okay. I think that's what you're looking for, or no?
it is what I'm looking for, but I want to know, I would really like the city to pull the trigger, bang, bang, and send out a damn survey, right, to residents, like, whatever. I mean,
But wait on this, I wouldn't want to do that.
can we do it in,
I think we get support to do that, yes.
but here's the reason I'm asking, because here, we're going like, obviously the septic is a big thing for 9,000 people. Water quality is a thing. How many people have a problem with water quality? How many people just say, nah, you know what I mean? And how many people are awake? And I'm not saying right, but I'm just saying that have had issues. And I'm just looking at like where the money's going. you know.
Maybe we can do this. Oh, I think I know where you're going, is maybe, I'd like for the committee to give a couple of requests to the city, saying, can you task, internal folks to do certain things? Maybe we can ask, can you form a team to look at water quality and put together the reports for us? I'm just throwing out ideas.
And I don't want us to be thrown the statewide mail in your slot water. This is about our city's satisfaction. I'm not talking about what. the
Customer
standard-
satisfaction?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I think that would give us an idea,
So what you're saying is possibly just strike it and then just do the survey on that piece?
if that saved us money, how much would it cost? us?
16,500.
How much would it cost the city
do
to
a
jump on
survey?
top of that? Right, and just,
Not the city, that would have to be Deltona Water customers.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay,
You're right.
okay.
Because
Well, how long-
there's, I mean, it's semantics, but it's,
Yeah, you're
if you
right.
say that to the city, they're just gonna send it to the city
Yeah,
and
yeah,
forget
yeah.
it.
So when does the next billing cycle go out? I mean, I just got my
Oh,
bill.
They go out multiple times a
I don't know,
month.
who's gonna write the questions, who's gonna review the question, that all has,
Yeah, but I don't think that would be very hard if we just kind of take what the residents have been saying.
I'm so sorry. They can
And to
do
be
the
able to
survey
put it in the bill.
electronically, too. Sorry.
a lot of people are electronic.
you get a lot of elderly people
Who, yeah, you've got, if it's, we're a retirement community. But if they put it in their bill and ask them to drop it off in the water department.
Which is already short-staffed, you know what I mean? But
No, but just to drop it off to retrieve it, they don't have to mail it in or anything, they can drop it off and
Well,
then
you
we'll
mail it
pick
with
it up
the payment.
and do the surveys, right?
I don't know, what is the, like the average number of people returning, it's gotta be low.
I pay mine online,
I do too.
and it's late because I was out of town. I just got a blue notice. I may have to call you to get my water reconnected.
You can find it.
I just seen it this morning, like, oh, blue notice. Sorry,
Hey,
going
I'll
off the
help
rails
you.
here.
I'll help you.
It's a $20 bill.
Okay, water treatment and distribution, if we take that 16.5 and then we take the other, what were we looking at?
Yeah, let's go back to that and talk money a little bit. I know it's kind of vague because we don't know how they're related to, and say, hey, look at this for sewer, wastewater. But going back, financial planning and management, what did we do?
That was, we're gonna
Half
keep,
and half.
Yeah.
I think that if we just look at the necessity of the 25 and then get them,
Okay.
to say, cut it in half, because there's
So
only
it's
2
9K.
points, bullet points here, so that's $9,000 right there.
Okay, so we're gonna keep, this one.
Remove bonds, but keep 25%.
Correct.
So that's $9,000 right there.
Human capital, I think we said yes to all of that, right?
Yes.
Regulatory compliance, we're taking it out.
That saves $8,000.
Why didn't you take that out? Costs, projects, governance, capital project governance, I'm sorry. What did I say, cost?
we left that with
Out.
John,
Yeah, we're taking that out.
so that's 16,000.
Information technology is in.
And
We got customer service and billing is in.
mhm.
I'm of the opinion that is only one billing and customer service process for the entire city, it's water department, so I don't see how that can go up or down, you know what I mean? That makes sense what I'm saying, right? Anybody think differently? No? Good. And if we take out water treatment,
That's 16.5. So how much is that?
About 49.5, quick math,
49.5?
49.5.
And so then, how much do they want? About 60 for wastewater?
If we kind of do the math that the committee was looking at based on the original proposal, then probably within that ballpark. Obviously, we won't know until we
Send it to them.
send it to
So
them.
that's how we dice it up, that's how we send it back to them, tell them this is still our budget, and make it happen, or we move along. I mean, just truly, and I don't think they want to lose that business. I mean, how do y'all feel about that?
Well, I just find it totally amazing that they gave us initially 360,000 and then found out our budget, we could do it for 199.
And they were trolling the Facebook groups and they're. But listen, hey, here's a follow-up thought I was having. KPMG is state approved. Are there any other companies that are state approved?
I don't know.
And if there are is their pricing the same? Or is it all standardized? I mean, how do
You
we
know
know?
what, I'll go back to staff, also look in their little systems, because they can see bids that have been offered, see if there's any other similar types of entities that do something like this.
That's fine. I would like for us to keep KPMG, but I would like for them to understand that however closely we can push it, we don't want to go over this. This right here, here's the thing, there's still 20% meat in there. I mean, their business is to make money,
Yeah.
right? And I think that if you present it, we would love for KPMG, however, take these out, add this back.
And stay under 200.
Yeah, and stay at this or
Yeah.
under.
Yeah.
Right, or we need to move along because, you know, that's what we,
Or just-
because of this, if I hadn't seen this, I wouldn't be so, you know,
You just need to tell them that Valerie and Dana are so cheap that we squeak.
Tim and David wanted to prove it, but
The committee is so cheap, we squeak, and we're looking out for the residents here,
I
but
think I have guidance here, and then I'll get it together for the procurement department. And I'll have them dig a little bit more, to a good point, to see if there's anybody else out
Due
there.
diligence would say that we at least get some sort of a comparison.
Yeah, what I'm gonna ask is, if you see anybody else out there that's done this,
Yeah.
send them our request and saying, how much can you do it for? Or can you do it for under 2?
don't even give them that.
well, and I would like
I'm
to,
sure they'll
Money
Google
for
it.
losing.
and I would like to make sure that what we left for John on these capital projects, which I think he's more than capable of being able to do, but that
What helps is
he's
that we have
comfortable with
confidence in
that.
him, that's what
Yeah.
certainly helps our job. If we
But I-
did not have that, you know.
I love this guy. This guy is smart.
But I think as we wrap this up, we're gonna have to have also another meeting, just to talk about what do we wanna give that recommendation for the city to do internally.
Yeah.
This is what you should look at
And this
internally.
is what we, the fallout,
Yeah.
basically.
To give John kind of sort of some guidance from us, and some cover, at least from the citizens committee, right?
Yeah. Everyone likes him too.
Bill,
He's done a
Dave, I
great
want to
job.
bring to your attention, the committee's attention, time frame.
Yeah.
If we moved along, I'm sorry, Eric, if we moved along right now, say, yeah, do this, how long, 5 days, right?
For them
5 days to
start.
start. Now, what I mean by that is you all want to meet again as a committee. My concern is with him, because the month of October is a very bad month for him. And so you won't have a real opportunity. We can play with the schedule a little bit. There's some time maybe at the very beginning of October we can play with. But beyond that, you probably won't get a chance to meet till the end of October.
Let's
again.
bing, bang, boom then. Okay.
Well, yeah, if you guys could, we'll look at the calendar, and 'cause sometimes it's a little fluid.
Yeah.
But we'll kind of send you guys notice to say, can you meet here? We'll do the same thing. Hey, are you available this day? Can we do that?
And knowing that we know that you're about to be crazy, okay, and respectful of that, but, you know, and encourage the city to understand that also. Get the numbers, get this right here, you know what I mean?
I'll be on the phone with Kate Monday morning,
Okay.
and, you know, give her
So
the.
Monday morning
There's some flexibility there at the beginning, because there's something else that was tentative on the schedule that we removed at the very beginning. However, and if we don't stick to a Wednesday model, because with.
Yeah, it's not gonna be a Wednesday
Yeah, he and
model.
I discussed that, he was kind of, no, let's get away from the Wednesday model, because we are now at the point where we need to meet a little sooner, just to wrap things up. But in the beginning, in the beginning, there's a little bit of flexibility, and we'll try and stay on top of that to give you all the proper notice. But if not, for whatever reason, then it's gonna push it back towards the end of the month, which I know that the committee and public representative would probably not
Yeah,
want to do.
it might be like another Friday afternoon. I hate to touch people, because Fridays sometimes work for us too.
Yes, Fridays
Depending
usually
when I
work,
come in
yeah, that's
town.
true.
So, all right, I think I got my marching orders.
All right, and I just want to say, ending up here, the KPMG, you know, they're adamant about putting in here, about being members of the AICPA, which OPAGA's people were also, that was one of the big things. There's also some language in here, which, I mean, it's not, we don't have to go over it today, but to be thinking about that, what we talked about, we're gonna hands off, right, let them do their job, but we want to meet, voice our concerns at the beginning, if that is cool, and tell them what we have been experiencing, and that way, that will give them some fuel, right, things specifically to touch on during, you know what I mean? And I think that, then we'll just, yeah, I'm totally, let them do their thing, this is what they do. But I just want to make sure for due diligent purposes also.
They understand our frame of reference, that
Exactly.
they need that background information.
Exactly.
I agree.
Good, I agree.
Good.
Valerie, you good?
I am.
All right,
So,
Tim?
so
We're all set?
just so we know, you're gonna go back get some information. We're gonna try and get some clarity on this based on your conversations today.
On the changes for KPMG,
You're
we're gonna
also
send it
looking,
back.
you're also looking at the possibility then somebody, a representative coming in, if it's KPMG, coming in, so you'll ask questions. That's already 1 or 2 meetings
Mhm.
we're looking at possibly between now and whenever.
Well, what I'm thinking, yeah, thanks for summarizing that, Eric. What I'm thinking is if, what are your thoughts about this? If purchasing's come back and says, Dave, we can't find anybody else that's got already a contract that we can piggyback, assuming that, and we give this back with the changes and KPMG
Says
behind the scenes says yes, then I'm gonna say, hey, okay, next meeting is this, can you have somebody here?
Yes.
Perfect.
Okay.
I'm agreeing with that.
Now, if they also say, yeah, we can have somebody else that'll do it, then that might delay us another meeting, because then we have to decide who we want to do it.
Can we do that, or how
But
can
can't
we
we
do that?
meet with KPMG while that's happening at the same time?
Could.
I mean-
Depending how they respond to this.
Because the committee then could have a discussion about whether or not to recommend KPMG to the city commission. Is that how it works?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
We're piggybacking on a
There-
contract.
Whatever is the most expeditious.
that's
way
what I'm
to do
saying,
it.
yeah, whatever.
Okay, let me see what they get, and we'll send out an email to you
Or
all.
better yet, I want to keep things on the record as well too. Better yet, you may need to score.
No. Well, let's talk about that.
Okay, understood.
I just want to make sure, because we're doing the piggyback process, so I want to make sure
Understood.
we don't
Okay. All right.
trip up anyway there. Okay?
Gotcha.
All right.
I mean, that's fine, go ahead with that. I have a feeling that, I just have a feeling
They're gonna say
they're
okay.
gonna want to do that, because when you have this on your corporate resume, I mean, we're not a small city, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That might be incentivize them to, you know what I mean, to.
Mhm. And I think a lot of people have confidence in what their work product.
Yeah.
If
But
they
we
come back in
can't
our
go
number, it might be
anymore.
good.
Well, and I think we also had the comparison when they found out about our budget, you know, I mean.
Yeah, exactly, you got room, just
Right.
suck it up, Buttercup.
Yeah.
Right.
You're right.
Truly, yeah, but not over that. If we can, I think it's just really important. That's like, you know what I mean? Like $199, $937. You know, that's like a Price is Right. You know what I'm saying?
I know, when I opened that up, when I was reading it, and I'm like, how is it that they came in
Yeah.
right at our budget and,
I said they were trolling these Facebook groups, and they heard 200K.
If they can do that, that's great. I'm good with that. I'm totally like, move
And we'll
forward.
also still
Yeah, me
look,
too.
we'll also still look to see what other potential folks can provide this service also, because if they don't respond to it, then we may have to make another decision for a different one. This meeting, if anybody else, is adjourned.
Oh, okay.